Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the fun stuff you guys love to talk about. We talk about here. I'm your host, Mike Dolce. As always, joined by my co-host, Hassan Godwin, who is over to my right, Mr. Lord of the Radio,
Lord, thank
2018.
You haven't spoken my title in 3 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
It's hurtful.
And you can tell that it's hurtful?
Yes.
Really?
I can tell.
I was trying not to be hurtful.
Well, yeah, but it hurt anyway.
It hurt anyway?
Yeah, so...
All right. Well,
so you failed.
I apologize.
You failed in not being hurtful.
I apologize for...
You're not sorry.
No, I'm not really sorry at all.
I didn't think you were.
We are joined in studio by our in-studio guest, Mr. Scott Rosenberg, the entertainment editor from AM New York.
Senior editor, actually. But
hello. Shiznit. Look at that now.
Messed up.
Everyone's got time. Everyone's got titles. Oh, we got to do titles.
We got to do the titles, man.
We got to do titles. Oh, boy. Yeah, no, we're happy to have you here.
Thanks for appreciate it.
Or something, right?
We are back, and we're sort of funnier than ever.
Sort of.
We didn't get funnier over the break. But if you can look behind me, if you're on the Facebook Live video, then you can see there's some changes. Look at this. We've got a whole bunch of... We've got a new banner.
Yeah. Nice.
We've got some new...
It's not the one I chose, but nice. That's
I think it looks really slick, by the way.
It
I'm
looks
not gonna
slick.
lie.
You know why you think
I'm
it
not
looks
gonna
really
lie.
slick?
'Cause
Because that's the one you chose.
That's darn right. That's darn right.
I think the one I chose looks a little slicker.
Well, we'll see. I think I still might get that one printed up, and we'll because we're gonna look.
Yeah,
this is just the beginning of changes
we're
here,
gonna keep
right?
shaking it up.
Yeah,
Keep
because
shaking
that's
it
the
up.
idea. We have to continue. We have to continue to keep shaking it up, or else we'll get stale. We don't want
we
that.
don't want stale.
Who wants
Stale chips are terrible.
Who wants stale? No one wants stale. We want.
No
we
one
want
ever
exciting.
says, I want that bag of stale cheese puffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Understood.
I do.
Well, except for now.
Rick Parada just said meh. I'm not sure to what exactly. Maybe the
I
jam
think
back.
he's probably referring to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's a me thing.
That's fair and acceptable.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
I'm gonna love that. Look, even Facebook changed.
You liked it.
Even Facebook changed. Look at that now. You know, it's some crazy. It's some crazy stuff.
Fine.
How was your New Year's?
It was awesome in the sense that I didn't actually do anything.
That's good.
Yes.
It's good.
Awesome in its nothingness.
Sometimes that's like the best thing you can do.
You know what? I thought it was going to really bother me.
What's that?
That I wasn't doing anything.
Right.
And then around 11:55, I was going to be really upset that I wasn't doing something exciting for New Year's, but it didn't happen.
No?
No.
No?
I saw the ball drop, and I'm like, oh, okay. Back to sleep.
That's even... I'm just impressed you made it to the ball.
So am I.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Oh, no, I was passed out
What
by
did you
11.
do?
I was passed out by 11.
By 11?
Yeah, we got a little kid at home. That kid's
you
going to
blame
wake
the
up...
kid for everything.
Well, yeah, that kid's waking up at 6 o'clock no matter what. So
yeah, but you got to,
it's just... There's pain.
You got to tough
nothing
it
but
out
pain.
for New Year's, though, right?
So you're not newly married anymore, but you're...
No, it's been 5 years. Been 5 years.
Been 5 years. So you're not even close to newly married then.
No.
Any young ones?
No,
Nothing. All right. So
Nothing.
you can stay up to the ball and
I
have
do.
no excuse.
And I did.
Yeah, you did. All right. Excellent.
See?
That's what I like to hear.
See, that's how you do.
No, but that's acceptable. That's acceptable.
All right, well.
If
fine.
he said he fell asleep before, then
No.
Hey, wait a minute.
There's some
I
pain.
saw the ball. That didn't.
that's acceptable too. I'm
You didn't really give me an acceptable, though.
No, I don't give you a lot of. Yeah. All right, we've got a great show tonight. We are breaking out the bubbly. We are looking ahead to a jam-packed 2018.
Wait, where's the bubbly?
We
drinking water over
broke
here.
out the bubbly last
last
episode.
Yeah, I
and
remember
that. It was
I-
pretty good.
I vaguely remember that.
Do you vaguely remember
Yeah,
that?
I vaguely.
That's the good way
I
to
got
do
headaches.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
I'm
the
wearing
headaches.
a Christmas gift from my mom.
Nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
Give me that.
If only there still was a Star Wars.
We are actually going to go headlong into Star Wars next episode. We're going to look at the future of Star Wars.
Yes.
Next episode, we got Johnny Wellens from Two Pals podcast going to come on. Not in studio, but he'll be on there, and he's a fan of The Last Jedi. Scott is a fan of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
There was a lot of.
Scott was schooling us before the show started.
It was
how wrong we were.
Well, he was actually schooling us on how to set up the camera and how to set up
I just said he's schooling us about how wrong we were. I didn't say it was about The Last Jedi.
If he was just a regular editor, I wouldn't listen to it. He's a senior editor, and that's why he's smart.
Understood.
All right. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc.
Except for last Wednesday.
You can call in 877-480, well noted, 4120. You can join the conversation. Please do. It's always exciting when you do. Unless you're listening to us on iTunes or iHeartRadio or SoundCloud or Spreaker or Stitcher after the fact, in which case it's kind of pointless to call in because we are not live at that point.
Yeah, we're dead at that point.
But that's
we're
okay.
effectively dead.
Yeah, well, we're still living. We're just not live. It's much different.
I just don't get that concept. I'm just messing that concept up.
Secrets of the Sire is brought to you by our beloved patrons, dedicated fans, Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, Ashley
Not her
Haikai,
name.
our program director, Stephanie Dolce, our executive producer, Steve Ovecki, Brian Phillips, and Christina Gillen, and our Uber fan, Christina Dolce.
I know all those people.
And it's true, actually. We had Brian
Those
Phillips
are some of my favorite people.
We had Brian
'Cause they
Phillips
give up
in
money.
studio 2 weeks ago.
Yes, we did. He glared at us.
So so it's funny, right? So I was doing the research. First of all, having the week off was kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot.
I enjoyed it.
My wife sometimes says to me, when we have our arguments about, going to work and doing different things, and she's like, "Well, you have fun." Where you go. And it's fun what you do. And I'm like, but honey, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Now, don't get me wrong.
Try to convince her of that.
Actually, really, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. There's like...
And we'll get paid for this eventually.
Crossing one leg over the other.
Eventually this will...
And then trying to figure out when to cross them back to the other side,
Eventually we'll make money on this.
Oh...
So,
Now you're putting a timetable on it.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Eventually. It's very hard and fast.
That's a timetable, man.
But there's a lot of work that goes into it. And so part of the research that I was doing, when I started thinking about, okay, it's the first January, first show back in January. Let's look ahead to 2018. And
I started in January last year.
Yeah, I know. We got something going on. It was actually kind of like weird to me because I'm like, boy, there's really nothing. How do you top a year of 2017? I mean, if you had to pick, and we will in a second, I'll ask you guys, if you had to pick the one movie from 2017 that was like the cream of the crop, the uber, doesn't have to be the best movie, just maybe the biggest movie of the year, there was so many to choose from, right?
Yeah.
In a way, to me, 2017 felt a little flat. Like, I felt like there was a lot of anticipation for a lot of these movies, and I don't think they lived up to the hype as much as I think I might have had it in my head. But then moving to 2018, I'm kind of like, man, there's really nothing going on. And then I did my research. Holy crap. There is so much. There is Dark Phoenix. There is the Han Solo movie. Ant-Man and Wasp. Aquaman. Venom in the Sony universe. Infinity War, which we all know about. Black Panther, we all know about. New Mutants is coming out in April. I thought that was coming out in 2 years. No, it's coming out this year. Deadpool 2, forgot about that. We had Fabian.
Last year was a big year, though.
I agree.
We had the Star Wars movies. We had a Blade Runner movie. We had the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Logan.
The brand new Spider-Man,
Logan.
Logan.
Felt like a big year.
It was a big.
It felt like a big year coming in. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, when I thought about 2018, I was like, there's really not much.
There's not much.
There's a lot coming out here. So we are just going to be as excited as it goes. All right.
I see your point.
Before we go to 2018, and again, chime in on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Secrets
Say
of the
nice
Sire.
things about me.
Call in 877-480-4120. What would you think is what was your cream of the crop, Scott? What was your cream of the crop from 2017?
It's probably, I would say, Wonder Woman and Logan.
Yeah.
If we're talking
Logan
in
was
terms
very,
of superhero
very
movies,
good.
like those were the kind of the top of the line for me there.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Hassan, what was your cream of the crop of 2017?
It has to be Blade Runner.
That's your favorite movie. What's the biggest movie?
That to me was my.
That was your biggest movie,
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Because I walked in. No, I can't say I didn't have any expectations, but I walked in kind of just like, all right, let's just see, know. And I walked out like, wow, it was a great movie,
Yeah.
It was like Saving Private Ryan. I thought that would, this is a Spielberg movie. This is going to be a good movie. I will enjoy it, But I didn't expect to be that profoundly affected by the movie. So it was the same thing with Blade Runner.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other movies I expected to have a profound reaction to.
I agree.
Even Wonder Woman, to an extent, which was a really great movie.
Yeah.
But I guess me being a man, and that's not facetious. It's just me being a man. It's like, I've seen this. This is good.
Right.
But I have seen the story structure before. I've seen this ensemble of events before. Really good movie. Probably my second best movie experience of the year. but definitely Blade Runner's the top.
Before I get into my biggest one, you actually have a really good segue into 2018. Despite all the movies now coming out in 2018, I have zero expectations for almost all of them, right? Like, coming in 2017, you had Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and you're like, oh, holy crap, that's... Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was amazing. It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Wonder Woman, can DC get a film right? You know, that was on the questions of everybody's minds. So that had expectations. Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe. Holy crap. Like, every movie that came out last year. Logan, R-rated movie. R-rated X-Men movie.
Yeah.
You know, it had all these expectations, whereas in 2018, I'm looking at Dark Phoenix. Looks cool as hell. Skeptical as hell. Not sure what it's going to be. Venom. Love Venom. Love Tom Hardy.
No, they need to stop.
No. But that's my point. Like,
they need to stop.
Is it going to be good?
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Won't be good.
What is New Mutants going to even be?
That's going to be terrible.
It's got Macy Williams in it, though.
See, but that's going to be
terrible.
like, and I've said this for a long time. The way the superhero genre is going to have, it's not a genre. I mean, you have a horror movie, and that New Mutants is a horror movie, and it's potentially taking superheroes into a new direction, which is kind of what they're going to have to do, because you can't just keep having the same thing over and over and over.
So
and
don't
over
call
again.
it New Mutants. Don't take a known franchise, a known title, a known genre, and put it out with the same name and shift it around till it's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
But I would argue that there are horror stories told in the pages of New Mutants, right?
No. Not to the
there
extent.
Were. Bill Sienkiewicz, there was...
Like, you
there
can
were
tell
a couple
any kind of story with any kind of character.
There was.
And
but you can't jump to the horror story. You'd have to establish them first, just like we were saying about another particular movie. You got to earn it first. You can't jump right into the
you know what? No,
horrible asylum.
So the movie he's talking about is Star Wars: Last Jedi, which I am actually saying is the biggest movie of 2017. That is the biggest movie of 2017. Yeah. Oh, so now everyone changes their mind because of me. I understand.
You didn't ask what the biggest movie of the year was. You said what your biggest movie is.
That's okay.
So that's how you...
See, fence over there.
Yeah. Nice try, though.
I would say that was my biggest movie of 2017.
Well, that's your biggest movie.
Yes,
of 2017.
but I would say that. But I argue, though, that as a part 2, Star Wars: The Last Jedi was not a good movie. But
I would argue as a movie.
I agree. I agree with that too. I do agree with that also. But as a part 1 or part 3, I think it would have been a much better movie in my mind, right?
Okay.
And I think that's kind of what the point you're saying with New Mutants is. But to me, I'm like, no, it's a new movie, so it's kind of, they can establish it any which way they want to. Like Legion, when it was on TV, whether you liked it or not, established a tone right off the bat and followed through with that.
Here's what keeps killing them, and this is what keeps killing the X-Men movies. Unfortunately for X-Men movies, Marvel came out and says, okay, we're going to be kind of true to all this source material. We're going to be as true as we can be to the source material cinematically. Mm-hmm. And now everything that every other comic book genre does that doesn't adhere or doesn't slightly resemble the source material doesn't really go that far. Mm-hmm. It's I mean, the last, what was it, Age of Apocalypse?
Yep.
That was a farce in comparison.
Well, yeah.
Watching if you went there to see Angel,
we've seen the last of Bryan Singer in movies.
That's true, but I mean, if you went there to see Angel, if you went there to see Psylocke, because those are your characters, which let's face it, are the reason to put those licensed characters in the story, and you watch this farce where she uses a psychic knife to cut the fuselage of an airplane, and you're like, that. I mean, all it can do is fail for you.
Yeah.
So I think they should not do that. If they want to do something new with the genre, do something new.
Well, let's find out. When we come back, let's hear what you have to think. Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, Black Panther, Infinity War. Is it Infinity War or bust? We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Give me a vote, Bobby. What do you think? Steel or Nick Fury?
I'm going. I loved Steel growing up, and I haven't seen it in almost like 15 years. But, things were limited in the 90s. We didn't have many superhero movies to turn to.
James Quarandango said this is like asking which eye you want poked out.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the fun stuff you love. I'm joined in studio, as always, by my co-host, Hassan Godwin, second Mike, and Mr. Scott Rosenberg, senior editor at AIM New York. So he's the entertainment editor, senior editor. You're living all this stuff as well, too, on a daily basis.
Yeah, I do all this, pretty much.
Give me your funniest quick anecdote, kind of immersed in this entertainment world.
Okay, I'll tell a fun one about Mark Hamill, who I had the pleasure of sitting down with.
When he told you that he was unhappy with Last Jedi? I timed that perfectly because Hassan was actually drinking.
What a jerk.
Oh, we'll be able to all see Hassan soon. Big changes coming. Go ahead.
He did give me that line that it's not his movie and all that. But
he did.
He gave it to everyone, though.
Okay.
I mean, it was
that's
just
good.
kind of a talking point.
He needs to get it out there.
That's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So I walk in here, and he's sitting there in the Cafe Carlisle uptown, and he's got his little dog sitting next to him in the booth, and I'm sitting next to him. I come up to him, the first thing he says, he goes, my parents, they almost named me Scott. And I'm like, okay. I was like, oh, and he goes, yeah, I was in the hospital, I was born, and they were deciding between Mark and Scott, which would be Mark and Scott. And I'm like, he's like, and the people at the hospital said, if you don't choose, we have to put baby Hamill on the birth certificate. Baby. So they're like, all right, we'll call him Mark. And he's like, and for years, I'm like, Mark. What kind of name is Mark? Mark. Could have been Scott.
They were like, Mark it Hamill. And they were like, that's great.
So it's just the whole time I was like, Mark. And I was like, it could have been Scott. And I was like, oh, well, how do you
Scott
think
Hamill?
your life would have been different? And he goes, I don't know. Maybe I would have been a journalist. And I was like, I think you did okay.
Yeah. One of the most iconic characters in cinematic history. Journalist.
Scott Hamill sounds like a figure skater.
I think it was a physician.
Yeah, that's
I
why
think it sounds like it because it
Dorothy
was.
Hamill.
I think it
You're
was.
thinking of Dorothy
No.
Hamill.
There was
a Scott Hamill?
You don't know
Was it
sports at all.
Hamilton? I don't know.
Sports.
So? Because I'm a man.
Alexa Fox commented, "Oh my God, we're really going to see Hassan. It has been awfully cold in hell lately. It is. I actually have my it is really cold out beard going on.
She's a friend of mine. She's never
this.
seen me.
No,
so that's how
you gotta
I
grow the beard out.
That's how we do.
Too cold.
Can't do the beard, man. This is
cold.
No, I agree. I'm actually
You gotta do the full neck beard thing. You gotta go full Viking.
But that's like the hipster beard.
Horns in the head.
That was like the
whole
Punisher,
thing.
like the whole thing.
Gotta be a neck beard. You have to.
Brian Everham chimed in, I loved Logan and Spider-Man. This is actually talking about the stuff we were talking about. I loved Logan and Spider-Man, but a non-superhero sci-fi I really liked was The Disaster Artist. That movie was awesome. Did anybody see Disaster Artist? I heard nothing but good things about that.
No, I didn't know.
All right, everyone, even our new intern, she's shaking her head
Yeah,
as well,
that's a
too.
home.
Sam shaking his head.
That's a home movie kind of thing.
Not our show. Comic book movies.
That's not our
comic book movies.
flavor.
All right. talking about 2018, what is going to be your biggest movie? What do you think is going to be the biggest movie of 2018? Well, intern is dying to chime in here. I forgot her name, which is why I keep calling her intern. What is it? Ileana. She's going to chime in. Give her the mic. It's very exciting. We'll see her on camera eventually, too.
Sorry, just a quick word. I think the biggest movie of 2018, it's not going to be a comic book movie. I think that it might end up being A Wrinkle in Time, because I'm just hearing so many things from people about people just crying after seeing the trailer. Just such an emotional reaction to seeing the trailer, being really excited about it. I think that word of mouth through social media, through just, grassroots kind of...
Yeah, people have been waiting for that movie over 30 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's not a comic book movie. All right.
It's a novel. It's a science fiction fantasy novel.
Ready Player One, too, I think, is another one.
Yeah, but not. It's not. It doesn't have the caliber of Wrinkle in Time.
No, I think that's going to fade. Who's starring in that?
Oprah's in it.
Oh yeah! Oh, I did see the trailer for that. Oh yeah, it does look. Yeah, the trailer does look pretty good.
Am I pronouncing that right?
I have no idea. Oh, it just what?
The director, DuVernay.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Oh. I know the book. I read the book. I don't know anything about it.
Wait.
I think the biggest movie of the year is going to be Han Solo.
You think so?
But I think that's because it's going to flop.
You think it's going to flop?
No.
Ron Howard directing? What would you consider it be? What would you consider it?
You might not like it, but it's not going to flop.
I think it's going to be a disappointment. I don't think it's going to flop. It's going to make its money back, but it's going to be a disappointment.
I'm going to say this.
And it's going to mark my words on this. It's going to mark.
It's going to Scott it?
Yes, it's going to Scott. It's going to Scott the potential decline, not necessarily in the actual product, but it's going to mark the public opinion decline of that brand. So even if the next 5 do well, people are going to be like, yeah, this still sucks.
I don't think... I disagree.
It's like it's going to become like DC, where nothing they do can work.
But every one of them has made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Like,
what's that got to do with?
But my point is that it could be bad, but everyone's going to go. Phantom Menace was terrible, but everyone kept going.
Isn't there something to be said, though, that eventually the brand can tire, that people can get tired of the brand?
Sure, you can get tired of anything, but how many Marvel movies have there been? Nobody's tired
because everyone's happy with them, for the most part.
The prequels made $1 billion. The prequels were highly successful movies, right? Now, Disney came along, bought it for $4 billion, and had to...
Which they just made all that back.
No, they actually didn't make it all back yet. They made it a headline. It's a headline. Worldwide, they made back revenue worth of $4 billion, but Disney itself did not make that $4 billion back yet. They had to go. They paid $4 billion for it, and then they had to pay another $1 billion in a marketing campaign to market against the prequels. Okay? So even though those movies were successful, the stigma on them or the stink on them was so bad that they actually had to spend extra money to get away from product in their own brand that actually was financially successful.
I want to take a moment to note, and it's on the radio, and it's been recorded now, that you said the prequels were bad. So here's the one thing.
I didn't actually say the prequels.
I said
I'm going to
chop that up into a bit. I'm going to chop that up into a bit.
That's the problem with you. Because you don't realize that I, too, can chop, sir. And you've been saying a lot of ridiculous stuff. So start that war if you want. Let's do it. Trust me. You don't have no clue how petty I can get. You're unarmed in this fight, I'm telling you.
I will say this, and I agree with something that you said, which is terrible for the show.
Yes,
I think that The Last Jedi has split the fandom now, because that's something that I've noticed, and I don't think anything's changed, right? There are people that think it's the greatest movie they've ever seen.
Which is fine.
Not present company excluded. I think you thought it was great, but, Scott, you thought it was great, but...
yeah, but
Hassan thought it was the worst thing ever. I thought it was... I thought
that neurosurgery coming up,
both
right?
thought it was terrible.
Checked out?
In a way from where it could have been redeemed very easily, but it didn't. But I think now they have, with this movie, whether they like it or not, placed expectations on the Han Solo movie to do something.
The
right?
problem is,
and now you
be
can't
so close to this movie.
I agree with you, and now it can't do anything, right? Because now it's like everyone that I would say the general gist of. In fact, I think Scott, you said it when we were talking, in the green room before we went on, and we were saying how, it was great, it was different, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the general consensus for people that liked it. They're like, wow, this was different. I expected a Star Wars movie. I got a different Star Wars movie. I like this kind of thing.
Really that different.
No, whether it was or not, that's the feeling, right?
Yeah,
so now you have Han Solo coming out, and one way or the other, you have people that are going to either go into this saying, I'm expecting now more of this different, and not getting it. Or you have people going into it going, Last Jedi was so different that this needs to be the Han Solo that I grew up with a different actor.
I honestly think that Han Solo is going to be a successful film. I think what's going to happen is it's going to break its goodwill with the people. The people, Star Wars has such goodwill that,
Sure.
like as Sam said, they were clapping for the Lucasfilm logo. They
Right.
weren't even clapping. They weren't even clapping when the actual film started. People love this stuff so much, and everybody, I think, underestimates how profoundly this affects people.
Sure.
And I honestly think that Lucasfilm profoundly misjudged how Luke Skywalker affects a lot of people.
Sure.
Just as Sunbow or Marvel Hasbro misjudged how killing off Optimus Prime. It's almost very similar. They misjudged how killing off Optimus Prime years ago.
Sure.
In the cartoon was going to affect. It almost tanked their toy line when they did that.
Right.
So they had to actually go back and spend another $100 million in order to bring him back, and by then it was a little too late. I don't think that's going to happen with Marvel. Disney. I think Disney's going to do fine. I think they're going to continue making money off of these movies, but I don't think they're going to be phenomenal, successes like this. And I think if it breaks the will of the people, if it breaks their goodwill to the point where, like you were saying, like Christmas every day, kind of situation, which we're already in danger of doing that.
Just by the fact that there's a movie every year.
Yeah, even if they were all great, we were in danger of doing that. I think that's going to be profound. And I think the problem is, while Disney has made their money back,
sure,
I think the fact that they broke this franchise is going to be a stigma that's going to stick with them for a long time.
Okay. Let's switch gears real quick before we go to break real quick, because I do want to talk about Infinity War. I do think that, despite I do agree with you to an extent that the biggest movie could be Han Solo, but I think Infinity War is what they've been building towards,
I think
right?
It's going to be Infinity War by
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
easily.
without a doubt, right? I think that's going to be the
biggest movie of the year.
This is like the movie they've been building toward now.
Yeah.
The
star power.
Whether
it's
unbelievable. Whether it's good or bad. Because if it's bad, it'll be the biggest movie of the year.
Right.
And if it's great, it'll be probably and it'll be all on its own. If it's a great movie, it will be something built all on its own.
Yeah.
Not off of nostalgia of 30 years or anything like that. So it actually will be even more profound.
What happens if it's just okay?
It's still going to be
There's
profound.
still 50 more coming out.
What happens if it's
because Age of Ultron was just okay.
Yeah.
And everybody gave it.
Yeah, but you know what? And I think it's a parallel to Star Wars a little bit, right? You had this build up to that. Okay, just like you said. Well, another one's coming out. Well, yeah, I guess another one is coming out. There's a part 2 coming out. There's Ant-Man and Wasp coming out right after. So I guess they survive Infinity War.
Spoiler.
Unless it's a flashback.
Unless it's a flashback.
There's multiple Ant-Man.
Toasty.
But in a sense, there's not another Marvel Universe movie coming out after this that is anything like we've ever seen. So we'll discuss that when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you a curious person, always asking questions? Do you desire to be in the know? I'm your host, Antonia, of the show So Now You Know. Join me as I attempt to satisfy your curiosity. Listen live Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. weekly at talkradio.nyc.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Legalize herb to continue to resist the passage of this necessary legislation.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
We're going to keep it superficial.
Just a brass tacks.
We are
of the
very
situation.
superficial people
Yes.
in general,
Wow.
so we are going to stick to... Well, I'm a very superficial person.
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'm a book by the cover kind of
I'm a
person.
great guy. I'm not superficial at all.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. You can call in, talk with the guys, 877-480-4120, unless, of course, you're listening to us on iTunes or iHeartRadio, in which case...
You can still call in, but we won't be here.
Still call in. Still call in. You might end up on one of the other fabulous
other shows.
talkradio.nyc shows, like Follow Me Friday with Joan and Priya. Priya's a big fan of our show, and we have Kai's show. Kai Cole also just got engaged. Very exciting news. That's some... you were there. Yeah. That's weird. All right, so... I was here?
No, it was at the party. I was at in Jersey.
Oh.
We didn't get invited to that.
No, we didn't get invited to that.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
I always want to hear the rest of that song too from the commercial break. Like,
no, we can't play that.
No, I know we can't play it, but like every time it comes back, I'm like, oh man, I want to hear.
And
the
that'll
rest
get
of
us banned from Facebook. During the commercial break, Sam had a really good question though, and he said to me, why
doesn't Sam say these things on the air though when it counts?
No, I'm paraphrasing for him now, and I'm going to do this.
Oh, okay,
Sam's got his own show Thursdays at, is it 1 now?
It's noon.
Noon. Oh man, it's still at noon?
So why is he honing in on our show?
I'm trying really hard.
This is messed up.
I'm trying really
quit muscling it.
But he had a good point. He says, why is there no Marvel movie coming out after this? And what I was saying was, it's not that there's no Marvel movie coming out. It's that Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 is the end of Phase 2. It's also the end of the Marvel Universe as we potentially know it. No more Chris Evans as Captain America. No more Tony Stark. No more Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. All these contracts are up. No more Chris Hemsworth as Thor. We might not even see these characters. There's a chance they'll get recast, but I doubt that. We're going to be seeing new and more, stretched out
Which
universes.
is why they just bought the X-Men.
Which is a
technically
very good business strategy on their part.
Yeah.
But again,
even though X-Men's about to burn their brand down with this Dark Phoenix movie.
But that's what I'm saying, though. If this movie is just okay,
What's
the effect that's going to happen?
I don't think anything's going to happen. I think it's a marketing monster like Star Wars, where no matter how bad it is, there's going to be spin on how great it is, and you're gonna get 100.
So?
You're gonna get every reviewer is going to say this is the greatest movie we've ever seen. This is a phenomenal movie.
You need to read more reviewers. There's a lot of people who get negative on these things, though.
Yeah, but I bet you it's going to get.
But
like
he's
a
super
95.
negative, so like everybody else is like positive comparatively.
Yeah, not negative. I am a realist. I am real, sir. Oh.
Scott, what do you think is I don't want to say the future of Marvel movies. But again, if this is just okay, do you think that let's take money out of the equation, right?
Sure.
These things do make money. There's no question about it. But is the goodwill factor?
This is America.
No, but you can in a way, right? I mean, do you think the brand could suffer?
Honestly, no. I really don't. If the movie's like a disaster, maybe.
Yeah.
But the reality is that it's probably
has there been a bad Marvel movie yet? I don't think so.
Age of Ultron.
The second Thor movie was
Age
not
of Ultron
great.
was terrible.
We got two. I agree with
thought
both
Age of
those.
Ultron was all right. I liked it.
I would put Thor 2 below
That's
Age of
probably
Ultron.
maybe Iron Man 2 also.
That's true. Iron Man 2 and 3 were pretty bad.
I didn't mind.
Iron Man 2 and 3 were
3
pretty
a lot,
bad.
actually.
You like 3? 3 was better than 2.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt.
But so here's the thing. Age of Ultron is going to come out, right? This is the blockbuster. It's got everyone in it. It's this giant monster.
Yeah.
What's following that? It's Ant-Man, right?
Yeah.
Ant-Man and Wasp. Completely different movie. That one's it's almost a comedy. It's a heist. I don't know if this one. The first one was a heist movie.
Yeah.
Maybe this one's more of a. I don't know if there's a rom-com element to it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it could be. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's such a different movie.
Okay.
So, maybe there's fatigue from the blockbuster, this gigantic,
Sure.
but they're going with the smaller note here. That's not going to be. It's not built to be as big a movie. It's not built to be that kind of film. So you're giving people a different style of film, and I think that is going to, if you just kept doing blockbuster, people are just going to get sick of it. But you're giving them a different feel.
So, what do you think about Black Panther coming out? Like, what do you think the... I actually think that's going to be
It
just...
looks amazing.
I think it's going to be just as big. I think from a cultural standpoint, it's going to be just as big. I think it's going to be a Wonder Woman-esque phenomenon.
Agree.
Why do you think that?
I think because it is, for a lot of people, it is a culmination of a dream to see their representation up on screen.
Isn't that... Okay.
Well,
all right.
We talked about Wonder Woman, right? Like, why to us, as men, we're saying as men, that Wonder Woman was a good movie. It was a solid movie. It didn't blow me away, but for a lot of women who went to go see it,
yeah, I tend to think Black Panther's going to surprise just about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be enormous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be bigger than Infinity Wars, but I think it'll be the one that they remember more.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
Not necessarily because of the historical reference of it, but it's just a highly anticipated film.
Yeah,
like every time I see a trailer for that, like it gets a virtual standing ovation in the theaters.
It does.
And
it really
so
does.
People are really excited for it. Now, if it's not good, that's going to be a problem. I think that Disney...
That has more pressure on it than Infinity War,
well,
in a
I
way.
think the Disney machine will let it survive. It'll squeak by. Because, like, even Ant-Man wasn't an enormous blockbuster.
Right.
But it was so different, and it was not from a comic book standpoint, but from a conceptual standpoint, it was so absurd that the fact that you were watching and you were like, all right, this guy turns into he rides ants.
Yeah.
All right. And the fact that you're all right with that, and the fact that they have a giant ant and they called it a dog.
Yeah.
And you were okay with that.
Yeah.
It made the movie work. And I think it worked because it worked. It's one of those weird phenomena.
No, it was a good movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
movie.
it works with you because they made it kind of work.
Yeah.
It's kind of like The Force Awakens when in the first, 10 to 15 minutes of the film, where you got these two brand new characters, and they do this breakout where they're in the TIE fighter and they're having banter back and forth, and a lot of people in the audience were like, they did it. These are brand new characters, not Luke, Leia, not Obi-Wan, not Anakin, and I care. So the mere fact that they pulled it off means it worked. So all Black Panther has to do is just not be bad.
Sure, I agree with that.
It doesn't have to be great.
I agree with that,
It just
too.
has to not be bad.
It can't be terrible. So, on that topic, Brian Everham chimed in. He wrote Blade, ? I agree with that to an extent.
That's kind of what I was going to, but I decided not to go there.
No, but it's a good point. I'm glad he brought it up, but that was 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
That was 20 years
But
ago.
it's still
and
history.
we're
That's part of history.
we're
That's
living
still-
in a new generation now. Two generations have now passed, theoretically speaking, if they go every 10 years, right? Since Blade first came out, right? And superhero movies were not prolific in '99.
Blade
right?
was arguably the start of it.
Right, exactly. It was the start of it that made it okay to make an X-Men movie, which then started, I think, everything else that happened. Jumping over to the X-Men movies real quick. It's funny because Marvel's out of theaters by July. I know X-Men's technically Marvel characters, but it's not the same thing because X-Men's still under Fox control. Kind of weird, right? Like, in a way.
Not forever.
No, but just for the rest of the year. Like they bow out. Marvel Films bows out in July.
What did they had? They had 3 movies this year. Really?
Yeah, but they spaced out the entire year. Like the way the spacing is done.
but they only have one less movie this year. than they did last year.
No, they actually have the same amount of movies, but they spaced it out in the last year to cover the ground of the whole year. I don't know if it's really important or not. It's just something I kind of noticed. I thought was kind of interesting.
They don't need it. They're all right.
Yeah.
They don't need it. But the weird thing is that they're going to have the Han Solo movie in May.
Yeah.
And all their other movies in
There's
February,
the February, May.
But what's going to happen in December?
February, May, July. I mean, it's
What are we going to do in September? I mean, in December for
We are going to see my anticipated movie, Aquaman.
Really?
I am so
No, what are we going to
curious.
do in December? So, honestly,
well, we're not going to debate The Last Jedi anymore, hopefully, by that point.
I'll be debating it.
We'll
That'll be
do
a
it
battle
anyway.
I'll be having
We'll
no
do it
matter
anyway,
what. I'll
'cause-
bring it up. I'll just keep bringing it up no matter what movie you bring up. What'd you think of that ballerina movie? Was better than The Last Jedi. Let me tell you a couple of reasons why The Last Jedi is a sucky movie in comparison.
Was it better?
Aquaman, so you're looking forward to Aquaman.
I am actually. I am looking forward to it.
You're
No, Scott's
looking
shaking his head. No,
forward to
how
it.
come?
See, how does that work? How is that all right? You haven't even seen it.
Well, I saw Justice League.
Yeah, and you saw The Last Jedi.
And I saw Justice League.
No. You're
doing
not
it.
allowed to do that, though. You get upset when when someone denigrates your opinion based on the fact that you like the prequels. You just denigrated his own opinion. You just
You're
said
wrong. I get upset when you do it.
Yes, well, that's
Because you
fine.
do it
This is
all the
fair.
time.
Yes, this is fair. But I am calling you out on what
can't
you
call
called
me
me
out.
out. I just did.
I'll go on record here. I see a lot of value in the prequels. There's a lot of things I like in them. There's a lot of things I hate.
Oh,
and I use hate specifically that word.
But you were consumed by the dark side more.
We were
than
so
Hayden
close
Christensen
to
was.
being friends. So close. So close.
I'm just saying.
And I don't have a lot of friends. And even my friends don't like me.
There's not a big surprise on that last comment right there. Real shocker.
Whatever.
Real shocker.
Whatever. I just use them. When they used up, I don't need them anymore. That's how it works. That's how it works.
Yeah,
Well,
wait. Yeah.
that's how friendships
did you
work.
guys see Justice?
Yeah. No,
And
it's
you-
not good.
Yeah, and
It
I
wasn't
thought
that bad, though. It
Well,
was
my
not
expectations
good.
my expectations were so lowered, which is why I'm excited
That's
for
what I'm
Aquaman.
saying. It wasn't.
See,
in the context of an actual constructed story, it's not that bad. There are things about it
that movie
are not
was
that great, and it's
so generic, filled with generic
Yes,
characters.
yes.
They had nothing for the heroes to do. They fought the most generic of villains. There was that weird family living at the outskirts, like literally put in there just
Yeah,
so
it's
that
Joss
they
Whedon.
can
You blame Joss Whedon for that.
No, I agree with that. I agree. I mean,
I blame Zack Snyder, who I
Why?
hated for years. I
Well,
think he's a bad filmmaker.
Joss essentially did have to. I'm not gonna bash Joss for the job that he did on the movie. I mean, he did. Don't get me wrong. Look, I don't
Well,
think
he
the
just
family was a
added
good
that
thing.
part in
No,
it.
I agree. I agree. It wasn't the best thing, but it's like sitting there going like, here's this poop. Do something, and he's like, I'll spray some air freshener on this. It's still poop. I mean, no matter what you do, I don't think there was any saving.
I mean,
at that
there was
point.
no saving because that movie was built on a villain who.
Well, it was built on
irrelevant.
It was built on the fact that it was supposed to be a part one, and then the studio's like, "Yeah, we're done with this now. Just wrap this up."
And that's
in
it.
one.
I'm done with it now.
Yeah,
I'm done.
But
Like,
Aquaman,
I will watch more Wonder Woman. It was the shining moment of that movie. But Aquaman, he just looked like I was like, am I watching like The Undertaker from like 15 years ago taking a bath or something? It's just
so you're
like-
thinking no shot at Aquaman being very good.
I do not think it will be.
Okay,
good.
what do you think about Venom, real quick?
I think
Tom Hardy, Venom.
I think it's a real wild card, and it's
Very
gonna,
intriguing.
Like they haven't really revealed. They're doing Lethal Protector, so he's going to be kind of an anti-hero thing.
Very curious.
I'm looking for the Miles Morales
I'm
Spider-Man
going to back you up.
animated movie.
Agreed.
That's what everyone
looks
keeps talking
fantastic.
about.
I think that's going to be.
We don't cover animated. When we come back,
We do jerk face,
we go spinning the racks.
bearded jerk face.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, And on the show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Pornhub traffic plummets during Game of Thrones season premiere. Porn provider Pornhub reports their site traffic was down 4.5% on Sunday when HBO aired the popular fantasy series.
Here's a ridiculous question that probably no one asked.
Yeah.
Who did they report that to?
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire.
Wasting time.
We've got everything here. We got new backdrop. We've got new winter beard. It's like really cold. We're supposed to have a bomb cyclone tomorrow.
Bearded jerk face.
That's what it's.
Yes, we're supposed to get
Hashtag
bombed.
bomb
We're going to get
cyclone.
bombed tomorrow. I think that's probably the wrong term that you want to use.
I think so.
When talking about a major metropolitan city in this day and age.
Best city, especially.
That's fine.
If you're snowed in tomorrow, go onto iTunes.com. Go look up Secrets of the Sire. Give us a nice positive review. We really do appreciate it. If you do, we've had a couple that were really good, and so far we're a 5-star podcast. Please don't change that. Keep us there, but it always helps. Give us some reviews if you got a chance to do that. Alexa Fox chimed in on the Facebook feed. Again, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Anyone notice we forgive a lot of bad to mediocre films as long as we are promised it's all building to something? Why is that so important?
That's what they said for the TFA.
I think there's something to that, right? Because you're essentially, if I'm reading a novel and I start reading the first chapter and there's a whole book, then I'm expecting by the time I get to the middle and then the end of that book that I'm satisfied with where they went to it. And that's, so I think
we only do that selectively because as you remember, we had this conversation with Stranger Things when you were like, well, the beginning, the pacing was really slow. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, you got to take it as a whole. If the whole thing excited you, then, and you were like, no, pacing was really slow.
I think TV, and I think that example is not exactly apples to apples, though, because literally,
I don't
when, I don't know where that came from. Literally, when Star Wars came out, when Disney purchased Star Wars, it's like, we're making a new trilogy. Oh, okay, so I already have an expectation built in my mind, and it's like first, second, and third chapter. Stranger Things, we are a TV series. Holy crap, we did really, really well. Now we need to come out with a second season. And that's
but you don't do a TV
dynamic.
Series not expecting to do any more than what you've already done.
Same thing that happened to Lost when Lost came on, right? They never knew when they were ending.
And
that severely affected the quality by season 3 because they're like, well...
Yeah, because they think planning is for
we're kind of
jerks.
stalling here. Well, no, they're not. It's not that they, it's completely different if they come out and say like, hey, we're going to do 5 seasons versus 10 seasons versus How I Met Your Mother was one of my favorite shows too. Same thing. They never knew when the show was going to actually end. They had that ending. They filmed the ending after season 1, so they had the ending for 10 years before they were finally like, okay, we stopped getting renewed. And the cast has stopped agreeing to come back. Now we're going to end it, and it's like. Yeah, and it stinks because the last 3 seasons has been kind of like, you can tell they were stalling and stalling and stalling. Movies are very, very blanketed. New trilogy, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm expecting a 7, 8, and a 9. I'm expecting a 1, 2, and 3.
But obviously, if you don't plan,
right.
you don't do the work,
right.
then it's going to be crap.
Right.
So, planning is everything.
I agree with you. I agree. That was our
and then,
definitely.
And the whole idea was like, yeah, I'm building to something, but when you're building to something, you still have to give something.
Brian Abraham chimed in, I'm going to give you 1 star unless Hassan acknowledges the prequels suck. Brian, if you were listening earlier, we have actual audio recording of Hassan saying the prequels were so bad.
No, you don't.
Oh, we do.
No, you
we
don't.
will. That'll be the next new thing that we do.
No,
one of the old things that we do seems to be a popular segment, so we're going to keep doing it. It is Spinning the Racks, bringing you the most fantastic... I'm gonna put an EDM beat to that at some point too. I'm just gonna go nuts. This is 2018. This is year 3 of my 4-year plan to dominate the world. Bright sequel announced at Netflix. Yeah, no, I'm going about it.
Sometimes you just gotta let him flounder
take
out
over
there
the world
all by himself.
Take over the world by
flop around on the
coming
deck
up with
for a little while.
Comic book movie podcast. They never suspect a thing.
Right.
Bright sequel.
That always works.
Bright sequel announced at Netflix following the success of Bright. Netflix is moving forward with its sequel. Will Smith
Did you
and
see
Joel
Bright?
Egerton. I was actually just about to ask you the same thing. I did not. Are attached to reprise their roles, with David Ayer returning to write and direct the second installment. Writer Max Landis won't be back for the next film. Eric Newman and Brian Unkelis.
Poor Max.
I'm probably mispronounced that. Are set as producers. Did you watch Bright?
No.
Did you hear bad things, good things? What'd you hear?
I've heard mostly bad things about it.
I have too, but apparently it was yep. Thumbs down from our new alpha intern. Hassan, did you see it?
Yep.
What'd you think?
Liked it.
Oh. You're just contrarian, aren't you? You're just like I'm gonna take whatever. Oh no, Larry Sharp, who comes on after us, big thumbs down on that too.
Like I knew that everyone was going to give a thumbs down.
I think you did.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you did.
I just liked that nobody watched it and everybody thought it was bad.
Nobody watched it
except for one person.
It was the highest. There was like 11 million
I'm talking
people
about just
watched
this
it.
room.
Okay.
No, yes, no.
Thank you.
I have given no opinion.
No
I
one
haven't
watched
seen
it, thought it was all bad, and you're telling me I'm being contrarian.
Yes.
But you're just being a conformist.
Yes.
So then I'd rather be a contrarian because I'm making up my own
You're
mind.
conforming with contrarians, though.
I don't know any other
Conform
contrarians.
to the anti-conformity.
Contrarians don't typically get along. We're like spiders.
Anti-conformists are the new conformists.
No, we don't. We don't get along. We can't. The meetings are terrible.
But they have cake.
No, we don't, because we expect to have cake, and so there's no cake.
Jodie Foster slams superhero movies as cinematic equivalent of fracking.
This is baloney.
I actually posted this over the weekend. It was my Happy New Year post
Here's
for
the
everybody.
thing. She's entitled to say whatever the heck she wants. She's been in films for 1,000 years.
It's true. She looks
okay.
it. Yeah.
So now, so if you see with this modern journalism where they're all Jodie Foster has the nerve to come out of her blah 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 and say this. It's already bad spin.
Yeah.
You put a bad spin on a comment.
Yeah.
It's the same when Spielberg said that eventually comic book movies are going to end up like Westerns. They're just not going to be popular anymore. He got ripped. He was like, well, Spielberg's just angry because he's not famous. Because millennials are freaking stupid. Yes.
Wow. That was a blanket statement.
Millennials are stupid.
Blanket statement. It's ruining viewing habits, Jodie Foster slams, as the cinematic equivalent of fracking. In an interview with the Radio Times, the actor-director slammed the likes of Marvel and DC production. Going to movies has become like a theme park. Studios make bad content in order to appeal to the masses, and shareholders is like fracking. You get the best return right now, but you wreck the earth.
When did movie studios not try to appeal to the masses?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's...
Well, it's the same argument as fanboys didn't get what they want with The Last Jedi, therefore they hate it. When do fans not getting what they want constitute that everyone loving it?
No, I'm hearing from the chatter that I read, there are people that just love it or hate it. I think it's a bad example.
It is not a bad example. One of the...
You go ahead. You were saying. I'll wait.
It's good air.
Got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 3 minutes to go. All right. No, I look. We talked about this online.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, we talked about this online, and I commented back, and some people had some very interesting comments on this one, as you and I both kind of.
Which one?
The Jodie Foster article that I posted.
Yeah,
there was some definitive.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
I'm not sure what that was.
But anyway,
but no, I think there's definitely, like, Scott, you actually, you make a good point though, is the fact that movies have always tried to do that, but I think also movie theaters now and movies in general are competing against everything else that's out there.
They're trying to find ways to get people to go back to the movie theaters.
Yeah,
I think kind of what she was, and I think a lot of these things are taken out of context, or she's kind of put on it. I think what she was trying to get at here is that those movies have stopped, but like the studios aren't doing Jodie Foster movies anymore.
Right.
Like those kind of, like, they're like, we need a big tentpole, we need this, that, and the other, and doing a good drama or doing something that's, a little more.
Well, you either make a $10 million movie or you make $150 million movie. There's no
and that's
$30 million.
Those mid-range
60,
movies just don't really exist anymore.
No, not for theaters.
And I think that's
what she's trying to say.
Yeah, right. but it got taken off to this crazy quote she said, and everyone just explodes because of
and
that.
And I think she's saying that there's going to be a cultural cost to it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a barren wasteland once everybody... Because when people decide they're not into these movies anymore, it's going to be abrupt. And these studios plan like 5 years ahead.
Yeah.
So the studio's going to have a 5-year schedule, and about year 3.5, everyone's going to be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with all this. And there's still going to be a whole half year
But you can have
like,
guys like
movies
Spielberg who
coming out.
can make the post in a year.
Yeah.
They'll find a way, and I think part of it's kind of a kids these days, but studios can find a way to get movies out faster, or they're going to buy indie movies at stuff like Sundance and all that.
Look at Disney, though. Disney's buying everything. I mean, it is starting to become a one-note kind of genre,
right?
And if you have this one studio that's buying up everything, and you could see from Star Wars to Star Trek, they're all starting to make the same movie over and over again with the same kind of humor and the same kind of
things will fill the void.
Well, and when it does,
Netflix is having big shows, Hulu's having big shows, and they're breaking past the big cable and the big networks.
When it does fill the void, we will buy a new banner, and we will completely rebrand the show. I want to thank our guest, Scott Rosenberg from AM New York, the senior editor.
Thanks for having
me.
Senior editor, yeah.
Senior editor, all right.
Thanks for having
Moving on up, all right. Thank my co-host, Mr. Hassan Godwin. Coming up next, Larry Sharp. Next week, what's that?
The Governor's House.
The Governor's House with Larry Sharp. Well, it's Larry Sharp, right? He's coming up. We welcome Just Two Pals podcast host Johnny Williams to debate the future of the Star Wars universe. You know that's going to be very boring. See you guys next week.
Have a good one.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth from Nourish the Soul, and on this show, you will uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to having a healthy relationship to food and your body. Join us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a curious person, always asking questions? Do you desire to be in the know? I'm your host, Antonia, of the show So Now You Know. Join me as I attempt to satisfy your curiosity. Listen live Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. weekly at talkradio.nyc.
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.